TIFU by misunderstanding an acronym. Not really today. It happened several years ago. But I was just reminded of this today, so I thought I'd share. Before the FU, I had to travel overseas to a developing country for a work trip. On my last full day there I must have consumed some tainted water or something because I ended up getting very sick with intense flu-like symptoms. I'll spare the gross details. But things were so bad that I went to the ER. The doctors at the hospital gave me some IVs and diagnosed me with giardia. I spent just shy of 24 hours at the hospital before I was able to go home with some medication. When I got home, I called my employer and let them know that I planned to be out for a few days. My boss told me to rest up and let me know because I got sick during a work trip. He would figure out how to ensure that I was reimbursed for medical expenses, which I appreciated. Here's where the FU comes in. A few days later I get an email from my HR department which reads something like, "Hi Op, I hope you're feeling better. Let me know when you're well so we can discuss your STD." I was so embarrassed that I hastily fired off a reply that explained that I was diagnosed with giardia, which is a gastrointestinal disease. And perhaps through a game of telephone, she heard something different like gonorrhea. I said that I did not have any STDs and implied it would have been impossible to get one because I didn't have any sex on my work trip. She wrote back a few minutes later. STD stands for short-term disability. Feel better soon. TLDR, I thought my HR department accused me of getting a sexually transmitted disease. Anybody knows the common use of STD? They should have written it out. Feels like someone was playing a joke on your expense. To be honest, that's their FU, not yours. Many businesses do have an acronym problem. But for HR, it's really not appropriate for them to be flinging them around, as in your case it can lead to confusion. Too many companies use TLAs that aren't explained during R&O, which makes for confusing SC. One of our OKRs is leading to a tribe creating a SPA, an API fed from a CMS, easy enough for CSRs to use to explain TLAs. I would have thought the same thing, and probably a lot of others would as well. Don't feel bad. I'm an attorney who does employment law. And this made me laugh so loud that my secretary just came in to see what I was doing. Fucking brilliant. D. Can confirm. Giardia as a FC King nightmare. Lots of love. As common as the term STD is, you really didn't fuck up. As long as you didn't go completely off the rails about it, I think that is a fair response. Any average person would be pretty blindsided by that remark and reply. I had a similar thing a few years ago at my work. The work phone has a button called DND. Now, I'm a huge nerd, so obviously I pressed it. Found out like 7 months later that it stands for Do Not Disturb, and people had been trying to get a hold of me the entire time. Tears of joy. Save the date. Quote. This is a problem with people on the know. Using acronyms for people not in the know. The common understanding of STD is sexually transmitted disease. You work in insurance or HR? Short-term disability. The HR representative should have known better. I work in short-term disability and always introduce my job as STD case manager because I know people will always think of that first instead of my job, and it's a funny icebreaker. Totally not your FU but your HR department's when sending that email. They should have known better. I'm 100% positive you aren't the first person to make that mistake. STD, as in a sexually transmitted disease, is much more common among the adult population than short-term disability. This made me laugh so hard. Such a funny mistake on both sides. My brother once, during a family dinner my mom made, said, "Oh man, this food is DTF." His wife and I both looked at each other and were like, I don't think that's what you meant to say. He asked us what he had said. I guess trying to figure out what he actually said versus what he meant to say. He meant to say TDF. To die for. Still makes me laugh to this day because it's such a typical thing for him do. STD is used in HR worlds to abbreviate short-term disability, but is not what non-HR people think of. You definitely did not FU. The HR person did. I handle submitting short-term disability claims for my company and often abbreviate things to do. On my calendar, one day I wrote myself a note with a person's name followed by STD to remind myself to submit their hours for the week to our claims company, as my desk is in a shared office. Thankfully I realized my mistake and changed it to a different abbreviation before anyone saw it. It would have been really embarrassing had anyone seen it and assumed sexually transmitted disease as you had. This is the danger of abbreviating anything. It can mean different things to different people. Laughed out loud. Great story. In my world, ED can be economic development, eating disorder, or erectile dysfunction. Got to watch context. Oh shit, she parried your offense excellently, LMAO. I reckon HR didn't know what Giardia was, and tried to backpedal.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.